trying to get this more on Thursdays. I'm just Thursdays is just this Thursday's not going to work for me. But yeah, let's get on and usually I have it the other way where my face is a little uh better, I would say, but bright bright out there right now, my man. But all right, well, cool. Michael, I know that you had something that you were working on right now, man. Tell me my kind of what's going on in your world, man. What's happening?
Yeah, so I've got an off-market deal up in Dalton, Georgia.
Nice.
Um, we were looking at one of his buildings, and it's vacant. He wanted the letter from the bank on it. He has since decided not to sell that one because he doesn't want to move all of his stuff that's in it.
Shock.
So he is willing to sell, or he wants to sell the other building that he has right next door because that one already has a tenant in it for the next 3 years. The problems that I'm having with it are the letter from the bank, the amount of the lease, and obvious his asking price.
Have you here's a thought. Here's a thought. Have you considered before we get into it, what building is the most important to you, or you want to buy both of them?
The most important one right now is the one with a lease in it or a
Okay, so
tenant.
not the one that's got a bunch of stuff in it.
Correct.
Is there one that's in better shape?
Uh, y- yeah, the one with the tenant is in a little better shape.
All right. So you might be able to get the other one for a song. All right. So what's the question? Like, what can I help you with? What's the story?
So I was looking for some advice on negotiating. I think I can handle the bank letter, but negotiating the lease is going to be the difficult part. Trying to convince him that his lease is under market rent and he wants 1.5 for the building, and at 1.5 with 8,000 a month, he's selling it. It's like a 6.4 cap. So I still need to figure out where he's getting that number from. I don't have
Zane,
much information on the building
I
because he
think
wanted a
Zane
bank
knows the
letter.
answer, Michael.
Wait, so you're saying that?
He knows everyone should know the answer by now to
Oh,
your problem, Michael.
Yeah, it sounds like he's not motivated,
It's not motivated.
but I feel like it's more like they haven't done any research on the pricing. They haven't talked to a broker or anything. They just said we want 1.5. I was
Okay.
like, so I plan on kind of trying to guide him in a way
All right. So what's the
to
solution?
understand.
So what's the idea that you should do if he's again, if he went on Zillow and discovered $1.5 million, which again, right or wrong, it doesn't matter, right? Whatever. How can you buy the building to where it makes sense for you? What do you have to change? Like if the pricing is the price, how
Yeah,
do you change how do you change to make the deal actually bankable?
the
What do
lease.
you have to do and negotiate in order to change to make the deal actually solve it?
I can change either the lease or the
The
purchase
income,
price.
the income.
Yes, the
Got to
income.
increase the income.
Yes.
So for you, if the guy is set on 1.5 and he's like, yeah, I'll leave 500 grand in the deal or whatever that you're working on, what I'd recommend doing is immediately begin to start talking to adjacent parcel owners and figure out if they've got any desire to ground lease, lay down yard or whatever. So if you got this guy at $4 a foot and the market's 12, pump him to $8 a foot, double his income or double the rent on the building, go find an adjacent parcel, ground lease that and lease that to some guy that needs laydown yard. So then you can turn the lot from the site from 6,000 a month in rent to 12,000 a month in rent. And then the ground lease is going to cost you $1,000, but you can rent it for 2,000. So you add another $1,000 in rent. So you can go from 6,000 to 13,000 in order to compensate for the purchase price. Does that make sense?
Yes, partially.
If he's tied up on if he's tied up on the purchase price and you
Yeah.
get him off of it, the move is to either walk away. That's usually the number one because he's not motivated. The second is, again, you can educate him the fact that he's psychotic and he's never going to get that price. The third is to give him the price, make him leave a ton of money in the deal to where your bank is in first position, but they only lend you 25%, not 75%. Or really the third is to purchase it at what he's asking, but the leases and everything around it is you can increase the value by double, to make the value of the property $3 million,
Gotcha.
Like if he's asking 1.5, you need to back into the math to see and make sure that you can create $3 million of value or another 1.5 million of value to double the site, to double the value of the building and around it within 12 months.
That seems extensive. That is a large value add. Do
Well,
you
it goes
usually
back
do
to what
that
I
for
was
the?
saying before. Maybe the guy is overpricing the site.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then,
He definitely
they got
is.
a guy that wants, I mean, I was looking at a site today. I mean, I went and walked a building with a guy that is renting from, or that's wanting to buy a building of mine. And I bought it back in September. So just under a year ago for $1 million, 1,075,000. He offered me 1.6 today. I responded at 2.1. I know I'm not going to get it, but he didn't flinch at it. And I say that to not, I'm saying it to say, who knows? Who knows? Like, if he's set on that 1.5 number, then dude, I mean, you don't think it's worth it, then dude, then move on. You're
Yeah.
wasting your
That's
time
the
working
point.
with somebody that's not willing to come off that number. It's like a crazy waste of time.
Gotcha.
Does
What do
anybody
you?
have an opinion on that? I mean, I don't want to just sit here and like try and like, tell Michael what to do, but does anybody have like, Zane, what's your thoughts? What's your opinion on that?
I mean, I would have said probably the same thing. I mean, we go through buildings all day long that are just overpriced, obviously. Um, I don't think
Not
it's too deep.
overpriced, but just motivated sellers are not there. They're not motivated. I mean, everything that I own is for sale. I'm just not motivated to sell them. But if somebody comes in with a crazy 1031 money offer, well, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
Maybe Michael, what the guy is offering it is for 1031 buyers, not for investor buyers. There's two different types of them.
Yeah. Oh, I know. What are you looking for whenever you say value add? Because I know whenever brokers ask me like, "Oh, are you looking for value add?" I'm like, probably not what you're thinking. Because usually they think like, "Oh, a rundown building that you can like completely remodel and redo."
Man,
But I
most
feel like you're
most
looking
brokers are
for,
not the smartest. They're not creative thinkers. They're not investors. Like they sell stuff. So, and I'm not knocking a broker or anything like that, but that's the reason why that they're not investors is because they don't have the creativity. They can't see what is unseen. So what I'm saying is, like, for example, on that building I was talking about in Leeds, I went and negotiated with the adjacent parcel owner, who, by the way, had owned that site. He got that in a from a trust from his grandpa from like 1900. So the guy, he didn't even own it, and he received it as a gift. And he's like, I don't want to sell it because my great grandpa gave it to me, like whatever the story was. But he's like, he goes, if you need it, I'd be happy to rent it to you. So we agreed on a ground lease. And now that ground lease can be accompanied with my parcel, my property, if my tenant needs more laydown yard for parking or whatever it would be. I mean, I've got like septic tanks quotes, like whatever, it could be anything. But if you can increase the rental income, think about this. If you increase the rental income on a site by $1,000 at the very a month, $1,000 a month, you increase that site at the minimum by $120,000. Like, think about that. For every $1,000 that you increase the income of a building, you increase the value by minimum 120 grand. Think about that. You know, so if you can find ways to get creative with income, by increasing the property cash flow, you increase the value to some other body that might want to purchase it at a cash flow or the bank that's going to go and appraise it and refinance you out.
Gotcha. What other ideas do you have other than aside from adjacent parcels?
Uh, all right, I'll give you an example too. I've got the building I'm talking about in Goldenrod. I could show you the pictures and stuff, but it had about four. I was talking about it a couple weeks ago. And I'll do a video on this too. Had 12, it had 10 offices in there, like 28,000 square feet, 6,000 of it is office. And basically there's 9 offices in there. I'm basically going to increase the office size to about 15 offices, partition a couple of these rooms off and rent them as individual office space, like um, a financial advisor, a bookkeeper, uh, any person that needs like a single unit office for like 400, $500 a month and rent it out. So you might be able to rent warehouse space to larger industrial style tenants, and then you can also lease space to individual uh, office style tenants. So you make your building more attractive to uh, more people that need space. So that's one way you can do it versus just renting the entire space out to one particular tenant. You can partition it off and rent the space to multiple people. So yeah, there's a bunch of ways you can do it. I mean, other than just trying to rehab a property and rent it for 650 a foot, like there's a bunch of different ways to do it. Got it. It's just like thinking outside the box. Most brokers don't think like that, honestly. They just don't. Not knocking any brokers. They're only thinking about themselves.
Yeah, just trying to get paid.
That's it.
Understandable.
What else is going on? I see Date on here. I see Eric. Greg, what's going on with you, Greg?
Uh, well, refocusing on commercial, where my other focus has been, which is the supplemental preventative healthcare, getting that going.
Good man. Well, you want to talk about that, Greg? I
Yeah.
I don't
Is
want
it
to take
is
over the call. I just wanted to make sure that we're giving everybody what they're asking for today.
well, I didn't know if this is the platform to talk about healthcare when it's commercial real estate. I mean, yeah, I'd love to talk about talk about it till the cows come home.
Well, sure. I mean, yeah, look, if anybody's on here right now, you can look, Greg's got a cool offer that might benefit everybody for more passive income besides real estate. And maybe Greg, you can just give us a touch on what you're doing.
Yeah, let me pull up the website real quick just to flash.
Here,
Uh,
you can be the owner of this here. There we go. Again, y'all can get your eyes on this. Maybe it's beneficial, maybe it's not. But Greg, I'm working it with Greg on this big league, and maybe it could benefit. I mean, Greg's working with a couple other guys in our group that's doing this too. It might benefit. Who knows? It's passive income.
Yeah, yeah. So what we're doing is it's supplemental preventative health care. So the employer doesn't have to change anything with their benefit stack. They can start at any time, quit at any time, but we don't expect them to quit since we have a 100% retention rate with all of our clients over the last 5 years. And we're giving employees access to medical and health professionals at zero copay, unlimited access, prescription drug plan, zero copay, hospital indemnity. That means if they ride in the ambulance, if they are in the ER or if they're in the hospital up to 30 days, it pays out hundreds of dollars a day. And what's really cool is that so nutritionists, workout coaches, at-home nine-panel blood screening test, genome testing, all reviewed with a medical doctor, all that's covered at zero copay. Adolescent mental health care, so think online bullying, in-school bullying. Now the parents can have a professional to sit down and work through those situations. But the financial component is really sexy. The
Yeah, talk about the
employees,
money. How are
Yeah,
my guys going to make money off of this, Greg? Because I mean,
yeah.
you're just like rattling off a bunch of stats, and I'm not knocking it, but I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
I
Get
just
to
said
it,
I
because I
just
don't give a
said
shit about online bullying.
you
Shit,
got
get
kids.
to it.
Come on.
Damn, I'm not trying to knock you, Greg, but I'm like, what the hell is this idiot talking about? Get to the money. Am I
Well, first,
crazy?
we got to lead with the benefits, and
Shit.
I was just about to talk about
Man,
financial
I
when
felt
you.
like I was just
So
like I felt
what
like
do
I was
you?
in the twilight zone for a second. I was like, what the
What
hell
do
is
you?
this guy talking about right now?
What,
Just rattling off a bunch of stats about stuff I don't care about. Bring it on. Zane would know. Turn the heat up. Damn.
oh
Do
man,
that
yeah, I
again.
was just about to get into the financial when you just gracefully jumped in there. So
I'm
the
not knocking it,
financial.
but damn, I got to get to the heat. Show me the meat. Show me the meat and the potatoes. Bring it.
Brutal.
Woo! All right.
so
Turn the heat
so
up, Greg.
so the thank you for the setup on the financial
I
part.
love what you're talking about, but I don't care about online bullying. I don't. Come on, move on.
You got two kids, you might one day. All right,
That
so
day's not today.
okay. We'll talk about the turkey. So what's cool is the employee gets an increase in take-home pay by being on the program. And let's say we land a business with 1,000 employees. They're gonna free up about $700 in payroll tax savings for the company per employee. So 1,000 employee business is looking at adding about $700,000 to its bottom line. And then for as an agent that would refer them and that be their client, that would pay out $5,000 a month, $5 per person per month, perpetually non-diminishing for making that referral to our company. So 60,000 a year for making that one referral.
All right, let me show you guys something here.
You can take it back.
Yeah, take it back to me. Look, the only reason I'm bringing this up, guys, is because I'm gonna try and do this myself.
You're not going to try, you're going to succeed.
I will. I 100% will.
Digger, come on.
Let's see. There we go. There you go.
Oh,
All right. So again, whether we do this or not, we can get back into real estate in a second. This is kind of what a blueprint that you can share with people. I don't know what the math is yet on anything. I'm still working it out. But this is kind of a quick little blueprint that I'm trying to create for everybody to share. Um, again, I don't know what this looks like, so everybody can we can figure this out together. But I'm looking at it and think if someone's employee makes 100,000 bucks, this is what some of the savings that an employee can make. I haven't got on the employer yet because really nobody cares about the employee as long if the employer doesn't care. So I got to get over here to the math. But I'm working on that. So I'll share this with everybody when that time comes when I get with Greg and work the details out. So that is enough of the LLH stuff. So what else is everybody
well,
working on
one
the
last thing I want to flash this. We're the benefits provider and partner with Alabama Athletics, and we're about to ink a deal with Auburn Athletics as well. So I'm also talking to Coca-Cola here, a bottling company with 11,000 employees. They stand to save about $8 million a year in payroll tax savings for that company. So that's all. That's the last little cherry on top.
Greg, who do you talk to whenever you go to like Coca-Cola or
I
like the
started with the
Alabama?
CFO. I happened to meet him New Year's Eve at D Club. I know his wife from my BNI group, and so I had that kind of warm introduction. But started with the CFO. You want to start with C-level folks. HR is where deals go to die. I could share some information for the group if you guys want to start sharing it within your warm contacts. But usually C-level, money, operations, and then we move over to HR once we get their buy-in.
All right, I like that. Can I talk to you offline about that?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm on
All
the
right.
email thread, and
Yeah.
Nolan, if you want to be in on the call too to hear more about it.
Yeah, I mean, of course, end of the day, this is a benefit for employers, not really. I mean, employees, they can benefit, sure. I mean, I look at this as really like an opportunity for us to earn a passive income stream if by uh getting people like you can say all day long, oh, this is Alabama basketball, football, whatever the story is. I mean, is congratulations, Alabama, that's great. Congratulations, employee. But it's basically about saving money for the employer on payroll tax, which is probably the most expensive tax that employers pay. So if we can lower their income tax or their payroll tax, save them more money, and most importantly, maybe buy their building that they're occupying, then everybody ends up winning. That's the way I look at it.
There you go.
All right. What's next? Matt, Michael, Dayton's on here. Zane, you got something else that we're working on? We've got a couple of things we're working on.
Yeah.
We can announce, but we can really focus really on, the live event that we're coming up in September or in November that we're focusing on. Got a
I
couple
got
of
one
things
I
moving
wanted to
on,
run
but
by you.
yeah, go ahead, Matt. What's up?
Okay. I got a sketchy signal. Hopefully it'll hang in there. But so this is in Lexington, Michigan.
You in Yosemite?
I am not. I'm up at Shaver Lake, so I'm
Still
south of
pretty
Yosemite.
awesome. Still
Yeah,
awesome.
it's
Still awesome.
it's beautiful up here. It's in the 70s. It's
Oh,
gorgeous.
jealous. It's 5,000 degrees here, so you're better than us. Yeah, tell us what's the story here. You can share your screen. Let's pull.
Okay. Yeah. I'll go over that.
So, Greg, can you release your? I don't. Trying to figure this out.
I think
Hey,
it's gonna let me.
I thought I did hit
there you
stop.
go. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. Perfect. Sorry about that,
Okay.
Greg.
All right. So this is a company right near the Canadian border in Michigan. It's a little bit out in the sticks, but it's a the owner just recently um, put two additional buildings on the property,
Nice.
and it's a triple net. It's right, they have it listed at a 8.9 cap. Owner wants, he's targeting 9 cap, but I think we can wiggle there a little bit depending upon how we do the deal. So trying to, maybe how low I could go. But the beauty of this one, where if I come in somewhere around 4.5, he is willing to sell or carry.
Nice. Heck
And
yeah.
I came in at 4%, and he wants more than that. So I'm guessing around 5.5. The metrics work pretty strongly. 1.72 on the DSCR, with a
Nice.
second to cash flow somewhere around 100,000
Damn.
annually. So
Nice. How long
yeah,
is the lease?
the lease was signed 2 years ago. It's a 10-year. There's about 7 years left,
Wow.
and with options to extend. So I'm liking everything. I just wanted to get your opinion. Well, two things. One is I think I'll need to partner with you on this just to get some assistance with a bank. One of
Sure.
my lenders didn't want to go for this one, the DSCR lender, but I think if we bring in some, you know, strong partnership, we can get a local bank to help us tackle this one. So I'm I'll do the write up and send it to you guys to review. I haven't. I have had an LOI out there. I gotta send them a fresh one. I'm just wondering, in your opinion, like if we're very decent on the metrics and everything else looks solid, and we're a 7-year lease, how low do you think I can go? Do I have to be solid you know a, at a 10 cap exactly, or can I do 9.5 if I get them to 9.5?
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. So, how about this? Two questions. The first question is if you scroll up to the top where the rent per foot is 880 a foot. I mean, how do you know where the market is on that? Maybe that's accurate, maybe it's not. I have no idea. Like, is the market
Right,
at 12 or is it at 4? Do you know?
right, right. Yeah, the market is a little bit. I'm still doing some research there. I think they're relatively competitive. I'm gonna actually reach out to another broker that's out in Flint and engage with them to, offers him a little bit of, a point or whatever for some assistance in, the the comps and whatnot and the market, and just to keep an eye out for us to see if it's going to be something that we get into and it's the only building out in the middle of nowhere or whatever, and it's a risk if the other tenant moves out. I So that's a long way of saying I don't have that answer right now, but we're working on that.
All right. Next question is if you scroll down just to the acquisition and exit assumptions, uh,
Hmm.
the seller is willing to leave 35% in the deal.
Yeah, they were okay.
Damn. That's sick.
with that.
All right. So what if you ran the numbers at 25 years at 7.5? How does that change your debt ratio? Just curious.
Still
Yeah,
at
still
1.64.
strong. Yeah, that's strong. Yeah, I'll do this deal with you. I mean, obviously.
Okay.
I mean, if there's 8 years left on that lease and the guy wants to leave money in the deal, it'd be a no-brainer. Well, actually, one more thing. Change the
Yeah.
amortization from 25 to 20.
Okay.
It's probably gonna pump it to like I'm betting 148. That's what I bet. That's my bet. Anybody else want to gamble?
Close.
Is that close? Oh, damn it. All right.
151.
All
Yeah.
right. I was close. Still strong. I mean, still crazy
Yeah.
strong.
Well,
Plus, you get
I
all that
think
depreciation, which is like, 2025 liquid gold.
Right. Right.
here's another question though. I'm wondering about the exit refi. So I know
Yeah.
that LTV is set at 65, but I'm wondering if we just temporarily change that to like a 70% LTV and then the exit refi cap rate to like 8.5. See what I'm saying?
Hmm. That's one of the other things I'm gonna talk to the broker about is um, what's a good number for cap rate there? If we're at 9, right, what is mark?
You're breaking up a little
So
bit.
it's a decent refi to your oh, okay. It's a decent refi. I don't know if you can see it now.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, kind of.
It's very delayed. Let me turn my video off. Hopefully that improves it with the video off.
Oh, yeah, I think that helps.
Okay. So I adjusted 8.5 and 70 LTV.
Okay.
You walk away with 637.
Strong.
Cool.
And it's an agricultural company. They make different products for farming and they export to Canada. But they work that whole kind of north central
How
US
long, how long, Matt,
segment.
will they hold the note?
I have it at 5 years. I think he was willing to do 5 years. That wasn't one of his points of contention.
Man, if they hold it at 5 years, dude, it's a grand slam, honestly, because I just bought out some partners today on
Yeah.
a building like this morning, this afternoon. And I held that building for less than 3 years, and that building appraised for almost 50% more than we bought it for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't even do anything crazy. Like I'm not even a martyr. Like not trying to be what I'm saying is that real estate just appreciated. I mean, the appraiser valued the property. I bumped the rents a couple of times, but it wasn't anything crazy. But the value of the building almost went up 50. It was like 40%, 45% from when
Yeah.
I bought it 3 years ago. And I
Right.
refinanced. I used the bank to buy everybody all out. I mean, it's crazy. So
Yeah.
so if you can extend that to 5 years, dude, there is a almost really good, strong opportunity that you're going to be in good shape to be able to refinance, your seller's equity out.
Okay. And
Just to be clear on that.
yeah, what's the backup plan if things take a dive? Like what's your kind of looking at best case and then worst case? If you can't buy them out, then what?
Well, the blessing on second position mortgage, talking to my bankers about it, if we're just talking in our group, uh,
Yeah.
it's really a contract. It's an agreement between you and the seller. Honestly, it really
Hmm.
is. It's a handshake. Yeah, that you can say we're gonna guarantee some debt, this, that, and the other, but your first position lien holder really holds all the cards. So that seller will always have a lien or a claim on that property, but until they are actually paid off. So even if that's in 50 years from now, they'll always have a claim. There's always going to be a lien
Right.
on it, but they really will never have any recourse against you. It's just matter of fact.
Oh, and he can take possession. I mean, that's really
Yeah,
too
if you get
the
abducted
recourse
by
there.
aliens, he can just like reclaim the property. It's like a deed in lieu, basically, where if you don't make the mortgage payment, the deed goes back to you, kind of thing. But
Hmm.
you want to include that in the contract. But realistically, the first position bank or the lien holder is going to foreclose, and then you or this seller would have the option to go and uh, essentially buy the debt or keep,
Right.
buy the property subject to the existing financing and catch up the payments, that kind of thing.
I suppose you could also get someone an investor to buy him out as well. Offer the investor 10%
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
to hold
options.
you
I mean,
over.
I hope that's
Yeah.
never the case, but it's a
Right.
good question to ask.
Yeah, it's good to be.
The one thing you can consider too is, I mean, if this is a big enough space, I mean, one thing that throws me off is this Peter Furist guy. He's listing it from New York City. He's probably never been to this site before.
He actually, I've been talking to Ryan because I noticed he had the Michigan license.
Yeah.
So, but they're both actually based in Michigan at the
Okay.
in the Michigan office,
Well,
whichever
that's
one it
good. As
is.
long as long as you
Yeah.
got somebody that's like actually local and you're
Hmm.
not having to,
Yeah.
deal
Yeah. No, he
somebody that's
I
not from there.
I
Uh,
definitely noticed the difference when you got somebody right there. They know the guy, they talk to him regularly, there's a relationship.
yeah,
So,
even
and I
even
think
if
that's
he's
part of what
like,
helped.
even if he's like 30 miles away, at least you got a guy that's around. Uh,
Hmm. Right.
Most importantly too is if you can look around and figure out like if there's, adjacent parcels or most important, well, not parcels, but warehouses that are available for lease. I mean, when you got this much space, it'd be hard for somebody to go somewhere. It's really, really difficult. It's super difficult for them
Right.
to go somewhere else, That
Yeah,
the
exactly.
cost to move is insane. It is astronomical.
Yeah, he's got equipment in there
Like what is
that would be tough to move.
like I had a guy that was going to move out of one of my buildings. Yeah, I had a guy that was going to move out of one of my buildings, was wanting to about a year and a half ago, and he got quoted at like basically 675 a foot to move all of everything. He also had a mezzanine, which was like 40,000 feet. It was going to run him like almost $200,000 to move all of his equipment,
Yeah,
a storage facility. And he's like, that doesn't make sense to me. I would much rather just lease another 5 years, you know?
right,
So
right.
just a thought.
Yep, absolutely.
What about the weather, Matt? I mean, I don't know much about Michigan other than Kid Rock singing about it. I mean, it's
I'm pretty
it's
sure it's
it's
brutal right
chilly
off
up
the
there in
lake
the
there.
summer, but
Yeah,
it's a place
yeah,
to be in northern Michigan.
yep. It's
So
nice in the summer, but rough in the winter, I think. But you still hear me okay? All right, I will circle back with him and we'll get with you, Nolan.
cool.
But can we talk to some of, do you have any I'll look up the local bank. I'll see if Ryan, the broker, can help me with that. But at the same time, if there's any ones that you have on your list that would do a deal up there.
Absolutely. I've got a couple even mortgage brokers I can introduce to that would
Okay.
that are hungry. So I can definitely do
Okay.
that.
All right.
Cool. Dude, that's great,
I'll
man.
send the info over.
Awesome, Matt. Let's make
Cool.
it happen, dude. I'm ready. Let's make it happen. I'm
Totally.
ready. Cool.
Great.
What's next?
Thanks.
What else is happening? Anybody else working on something?
I might have something, Nolan, if you can hear me.
Hey, Dane, what's up, brother?
Hey, sorry, I'm just driving right now, but yeah. So I have a property. I spoke to Zane about it today. Um, it's kind of an interesting one, but it's located in Fayetteville. I've got two limited partners that are
Arkansas or
interested in
North Carolina?
what's that?
Arkansas or North Carolina?
North Carolina.
Okay.
Yep. So these two limited partners, they usually invest with their own capital. They don't usually utilize the banks. However, for this one property that's in Fayetteville, we just got an LOI accepted for 9.25 million on it. The seller's leaving 2.75 million on the table, and then Um, these limited partners came back on Monday and they were like, hey, like, uh, they're like, what are the chances that we can get funding from a bank to do it? So they want a bank to throw into it, so that way they're not putting more capital out of their pockets to do another property. So I've been deep deep diving on other banks to see kind of what we can do for them. I'm acting as a general partner, so trying to do a lot of the heavier lifting. But it's it's kind of interesting because a lot of these banks are like, yeah, absolutely. The smaller banks are like, hey, if you're not in our zip code, like we won't lend to you. The bigger ones are like, we would have to get like personal guarantees from, everybody that's involved. So that'd be myself and the two capital guys. So I'm just kind of trying to see how that works with the banks. Exactly. If you're not somebody that can personally guarantee, the funds, like, if you pull 6 million, they want to see that you have 6 million, in reserves. And I'm just kind of curious how you work that with the banks where it's, you don't have to have 6 million of your own capital to personally guarantee it.
I'd say this. I've personally guaranteed about $15 million of real estate, and I don't have 15 million in liquidity. I promise. I'm not driving a Maserati. I'm not driving a Lamborghini. Like I live in Crestwood, Alabama. So
Yep.
I'm not rolling in like liquidity like that, but I've guaranteed a lot of debt. Um, so your lenders are basically saying that in order for you to borrow 6 million, they want you to have 6 million.
Yeah, so that's the common answer that I'm getting back.
That's wild.
They expect all three of us. The other two guys, they have it all day. Um, and then me as a general partner, I'm doing an 80-20 split with them if they were to use their own capital. I spoke to Zane about it, and he's like, man, but if you go through a bank, he's like, you got to go at least, 50-50 or even like a 60-40 because they're not bringing their actual money to the deal, but you're bringing the deal to them. Um, so it's kind of interesting how they kind of shifted that where they're like, hey, like, let's see if we can find funding for it. Um,
So originally, Dayton, you brought the deal to them with the expectation that the sellers were going to finance the 30% and then they would bring the other 70%. Is that correct originally?
yeah, so that was the original idea. But
And then
then
you would
even the
split,
banks, sorry,
oh,
go ahead.
sorry. And then you would have split the equity with them like 80-20, right?
Yep, yep.
Which is totally fair, I think, for to bring what was it like 7 million or whatever to the deal.
Yes, yeah, 6.75.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's totally fair. And then now they want to like go back and say like, let's go look for bank financing and the seller financing, so they can be in the deal for no money too. So I
Yep,
think it might be fair to kind of like go back on the different equity. But Nolan, I think one of the biggest questions that me and Dayton were trying to figure out earlier today was, would it be smarter to continue looking for a bank to bring the 70% or just tell these guys like, hey, let's just do the deal, bring the 7 million, and we'll get the seller to finance the other 30%. And the building's worth like 11 million or whatever, right, Dayton? And we can go refinance in a year. You guys can have 100% of the cash flow until we refinance, pay out you guys as a principal, and then we can split the deal 50 or 80-20 or 50-50 or whatever it might look like.
yep.
But do you think, Nolan, that it's worth continuing looking for bank debt for the other 70%? I think is really what we're trying to figure out.
So roughly, basically, you're trying to figure out how you're going to come up with 5 million bucks.
Yeah, yeah. The big thing, yeah, they want to do
But they have
100%.
the cash already.
They do, yeah, 100%.
Then why not just buy it? Have the guy, yeah, I'm with you, Zane. Like, why not just have your boys show up with the 5 million bucks, have the seller leave 2.5 million in the deal like he's already agreed to. Y'all go increase the value, let it reappraise in 12 months, refinance at a 30 or 70% loan to value, which is a $77.5 million mortgage. You pay off your first position lien, which is all of y'all's guys' cash, and your second position mortgage, which is the seller, and then you now own the building with no money. Was that what you were saying, Zane?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And now they're
That
in the
feels like
deal.
super simple,
Yeah.
like in just direct. Your guys
Yeah,
use their money, close the deal. go and buy the building or go and increase the value or doing whatever you're going to do, renegotiate the leases, whatever. 12 months later, have your appraiser come in that you guys like, know, and trust. He appraises it for 10 million bucks, whatever you guys think it's going to be valued at. Get a 70% loan to value mortgage, which is a $7 million loan. It pays all of your guys' money back. You pay off the seller that left money in the deal. You basically are using your money in the seller as a bridge loan, a 12-month, 18-month bridge loan. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
At a
absolutely.
discounted price of debt.
Yeah,
It's a super discounted, cheap rate of interest because most bridge debt is like 15%. So you're getting it at like six.
yeah, yeah. And I get with them, where they're like, they throw capital like every week into like a new property. And they're like, hey, maybe this time if there's already seller financing, we can get 100% financing. And even like a lot of the banks, I talked to Zane about this. It didn't really make sense to me, but today, like two of these lenders were like, hey, we don't really like having seller financing on even in a second position because they're like, what happens if you guys stop paying us? We take over the property, and now we have the second position guy that we have to pay off, which, I figured if the first position guy's not making, obviously the second position guy's not going to make it. But, their big thing is like, we don't really like having another loan on those properties.
There are some lenders like that. I have a lender like that as well, and they don't like it where, like you said, it doesn't. Here's the kicker though, is it sounds like, again, I'm not knocking your banker. It sounds like an unsophisticated uh opinion or approach
Yep.
because if they have a second position on a loan, the first position lien is not obligated to pay them. Like, have you
Yep.
seen the movie The Big Short? Like, nobody cares about junior debt. If
Yep.
you in first position, nobody cares what's below you or behind you. The
Yep.
first person gets paid. So in these guys' circumstance, as long as you have first claim and first lien on the asset behind you, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. That's why, depending upon your lender and their appetite, I would say this, Dayton, the banks that don't like um, second liens or sellers financing the down payment are larger banks. Am I crazy, Zane? Like, this lender, I'd be willing to bet whoever you're talking with is probably a bank that has at least 6 billion in assets. I'd be willing to bet. Like, they're probably a larger lender. When you deal with a bank that has a million to or a billion to a 3 billion in assets, where they're under a regulatory threshold where they don't have to regulate. Like, for example, I'll spare you guys all the deets. I, I get with one of my bankers about every single week. We just drink a couple beers and we just like chop up and like just talk about what's going on. If you stay below a threshold of liquidity and then assets under management, you protect yourself from Uncle Sam and all this regulation. So there's a strategy behind, if you stay below $2 billion of assets under management, you can basically do whatever you want. There's no rules. I mean, there are, but you're basically being regulated by yourself. You own the bank. When you get above 2 trillion or $2 billion, then it becomes a race to like $10 billion because the regulation costs begin to just like strangle these banks. So that's when they start feeling froggy here, just the education. The regulation starts to strangle their cash flow. So that's when they start to just put seller or lend, like, debt into boxes and package them up and sell them as mortgage-backed securities so they can
Yep.
create new cash flow in order to sell new mortgages. Like, so then they can get to assets under management because it's all about deposits. So if they can get if they're below $2 billion, there's no rules. From 2 to $10 billion is where there's a strangle, where they're trying to get above 10 billion. And once you get above $10 billion, then it's kind of like, you can do whatever you want at that point because you have so much cash flowing into you. That's what my
Right.
banker has told me. So I say all that to spare you all the deets, but it
Right.
sounds like you're dealing with a bank that has way too many assets under management.
Right. And then I was going to ask too, do you guys have any leads to people that work? I know you guys are pretty tight on like the East Coast. Do you have any banks that work in that area of like Fayetteville, North Carolina, or
Absolutely. I got a couple of banks that will lend money anywhere in the country.
okay? Yeah, I know like we had that deal. I don't know if you remember this one, Nolan. It was that trucking industrial companies that own or lease back. It was over in Nogales, Arizona. We spoke about.
Dane, if I'm be honest with you, all right, yeah, okay, all right. I mean,
So
maybe. I mean,
yeah, so
I look at
look,
like 5,000 deals, maybe just like I look at a lot of them, just like you. Sorry,
right.
I'm not being a channel sound like a jerk.
No, you're good. You're good. So like I submitted a like proposal for finance and all the paperwork for
Yeah,
I think it was your guy Zach. You got and he was expressing like, hey, we don't usually go that far west on lending. So I know there's banks that have certain zones that they don't like to step out of, but I was just curious if there's like a contact that you guys would have that I could get a hold of for that property in that area and kind of see what they say at it.
man, I'd be happy to go find somebody over there. I mean, I don't think it would even be difficult. I mean, you're talking about each state, even the state of Alabama has 192 chartered banks. Alabama, right? Which you guys can look it up. I mean, every state has a lot of chartered banks,
Yep.
and a lot of them need to lend money to people like us. And so if we can present them good deals, and I mean this, in Arizona, I don't know every single chartered bank off the top of my head, but I bet you that, again, going back to what we said before, going to the bank that has debt in the past would most likely be open to hearing out your proposal. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
might be an opportunity.
I've got at this point I've got everything minus the PSA. But we finally got the seller to be like, yeah, they're like, come up with the capital and we'll sell it to you. So we're at that point, but now we're myself and the broker, we're talking to these two capital guys, and they're like, well, we'd still like to go the bank route. So it's like, give me a 24-hour notice on that is like, man, that's tough. But I mean, if I have to find like a bank to do it, it's like, again, why do I need the capital guys if I'm still willing to manage the whole thing?
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I mean, if I could send you all of that or, send it over to Zane so you can vet it, I'd be happy to do that. Hopefully Zach, I think that's the guy's name that I spoke to last time that works with you. Kind of see what they say would be
Please
great.
do. Yeah, please send it to us, man. I mean, let's look at it. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, man. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
All right. Anything lastly as we're moving on? I mean, it sounds like we got a couple things moving, which is freaking badass.
Hey, hey Zane, I just have a kind of a logistic question for you real quick, if you have a minute.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Or Nolan, sorry.
Oh.
I guess two questions. One, I guess, do you normally see prepayment penalties in your loan terms? I'm kind of getting most of the terms that I'm getting back do have prepayment penalties. There's one or twosies that don't, but is that normal for you?
You're asking Nolan, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
I can
said
answer,
Zane. Yeah,
sure.
Nolan. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't really have any prepayment penalties. That's very negotiable too, Eric. I mean, when you're signing up on the dotted line, I mean, again, remember for a second that these banks lend money to make money. Like they need us, you know? And
Yeah.
so it's not just like them on their high leather mahogany like desk. You know, we can do whatever the hell we want. And if we don't like what they're offering, we can find somebody else. And I'm not saying that like arrogantly or whatever. I'm just saying it from a standpoint of it is truly a supply and demand relationship. So if they're saying, well, you can't prepay this loan off, well, you can say, well, then guess what? I'll just go refinance it with somebody else, and then I'll pay them off. I mean, I've always been thrown off by the prepayment penalty, but you can 1,000% negotiate that not being included in your loan documents when you close like an original deal.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, the one deal, it was not in the original term sheets, and we're already at the end of the due diligence period, and it's pretty much got to go with these guys. We're pretty much out of time now, and then they just came out and said, "Well, there is a prepayment penalty." Like, what? So I don't really have a lot of choice there, but it was a little bit of a bait and switch. So learn lesson learned there. It does not. I got them to agree that it won't apply to a sale, but if I were to refi or do anything like that, then it would kick in. And I think it's like a 4, 3, and then a 2 for the remaining duration. So 4%, 3% the next year, then 2% for every year thereafter of a prepayment penalty.
How
And then
long
a
is
lot
it
of the
for?
other term, it's a 7-year term
Shit,
for that particular one.
that's a rip.
And then a lot of the other terms we're getting for other properties, they're all pretty much all coming back with like a 2% prepayment penalty. But like you said, since it's early now, and I've learned this lesson, we're going to push back on that. But I just didn't know if that was sort of if you're seeing that on all your deals too.
I would say I've never seen a bank, and most importantly too, I would always just be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. I'm thinking about going and buying a new building. If you waive this prepayment penalty, I'll go find another site and I'll use you as the debt broker, right? I mean, that's always your option if they
Yeah,
waive,
yeah.
what you guys agreed on. But if you're really feeling froggy, man, like if they say nope, can't waive it, well, you say, guess what, buddy? Kick rocks. I'll never call you again, and I'll tell everybody and their brother never to call you. I will promise you, I will blast. I will be so negative on the internet to where nobody will ever call you, and you will be bagging groceries at the Piggly Wiggly. Like I'd be a savage about it. I would be a savage.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean,
Love it.
not
All
trying to
right.
even be a jerk, but I would be like, if you don't do this deal with me like the way that I want, where you misled me, I promise you, you will never do another loan at this zip code for the rest of your life. Go move. I'd be savage about it.
Uh,
Yeah.
all right. Sounds good. And
So
the
just
next
trying to
question
be
real
like
quick was just
be
a,
crazy about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah,
Because
no,
I
no, no.
guarantee you at that
The next
point,
question.
they'll find a way to waive it.
All right. Yeah, and then the other one's just a real quick logistics question. It's more of a bookkeeping question, really. So I have a tenant that I met with yesterday, a potential future tenant that basically wants an invoice for anything as part of the triple net, the taxes and so on. So that they have an invoice so they can write against for taxes and things like that. How do you normally account for that in your books? Do you recognize them paying you back for say taxes as a reimbursement to the expense, so that you're not taking it against the taxes, or are you showing as an additional line of revenue? When you receive that
No, I
triple net
mean,
payment.
no, that's a good question. I mean, very, very simply, I intake that income, but it's not really my money. It's the government's or it's the
Right.
insurance companies. So like if the rent is 3,000, the taxes is 1,000, and the insurance is 1,000, but I bring in 5,000, I look at as the income as only $3,000. I
Right.
don't look
So you
at it.
credit the other 2,000 against the expense you paid for those
That's
things,
right.
right?
That's right. I really, it's just a
Okay.
net out anyway. Yeah. It saves me a
Yeah.
bunch of time. Like before I was trying to get cute with it. Like when I was first kind of getting going, I was like, oh, I brought this money in, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, then I could earn interest on that money while it was sitting. I was like, that to me, that was just, it was too much. So I just was like, look, the money
Yep.
sits in there. It's not my money. It's the government's or it's, the insurance companies. It's not mine. And, I just accounted for it as just me kind of being the holding tank for it. It was a reserve account.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. All right. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. You can. I did it in
Yep.
the past, but don't. In my experience, I would not overthink the nets. Like just take them in, pay them
Okay.
out. Only focus on your rental income, which is your income. It's your money. Like the insurance and the taxes are not your money. If you can think about it like
Okay.
that.
And you have no issue with sending the tenant an invoice for the triple nets because that's what they're
Nope, I
asking
do. I
for.
do it every month. I do it every month. I send them an invoice that includes the taxes and the insurance breakdown. So they know,
Yep.
hey, I'm charging them $7,000, but the taxes is 900 and the insurance is 900. Because most importantly, then next year when the insurance goes up and the taxes go up, I can prove to them, hey, look, your rent didn't increase only by 3%. It's the taxes and the insurance that's really increasing. So our agreement is
Yep.
the same, you know. So then they don't have a dog, they don't have a fight with you, they have a fight with the government and the insurance premiums.
So do you send one invoice that includes rent and triple net or two
Well,
separate
let
ones?
me let me do this. Let me just show you guys what an invoice looks like real quick. Hang on. Let me see. Fourth Ave. Here, let me show you guys. So this is an invoice that I send one of my tenants every month. See it? So like rent 35, 20, property insurance reimbursement, property tax reimbursement. So then every month they ACH me this amount, but they know that this is really the only amount of money that they're on the hook for rent wise.
Perfect.
Does that make sense?
Perfect. Thank you.
This is super
Yeah.
simple. I mean,
Great.
you can create this on Google Sheets, like just you can literally type in invoice and it's there. Like I didn't even make this.
Yeah. Yep.
Super
All right,
simple.
cool. That's kind of what I was thinking. I just wanted to confirm. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, 1000%. So cool. Okay, everyone. Well, sounds good. Appreciate everyone making it on today. Thanks for making it on Tuesday. I will be back next week. Anybody has thoughts, questions, you already know the drill. Call us, Zane and I. We'll probably be rolling out a really cool offer next week on some other stuff that we really are excited to share with you. And so yeah, we're excited. I say, Zane, you got anything before we close?
Yeah, I do actually. I know that most people on this call already signed up for the live event, except I don't know if I recognize Eric or Dayton's name on there. I don't know if you guys have intentions on coming to that. I hope you do. But if you have any questions about that, let me know, and you guys should RSVP as soon as possible.
Yeah, we're filling up faster than what honestly we filled up faster than what we were anticipating. So we're dwindling down on seats. We want to kind of keep it more tight. So if you do want to have if you want to make it, check it out sooner than later. So
That's everything from me.
Good.
awesome. All right, everybody. Thanks for making it today. Look forward to seeing everybody on the next call. Okay. Thanks so much for making it.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.